Hello and welcome to the Cambridge Dictionary Facebook Live. My name is Jade Glennon and I am Digital Marketing Executive here at Cambridge University Press. Today I'm joined by the incredibly talented lexicographer Corey Samper. A lexicographer is a person whose job it is to write dictionaries, and Corey has been doing this for over 20 years. Corey has been working with us at Cambridge Dictionary to create our new Thesaurus. In today's Facebook Live, Corey and I are going to explore how to learn English with synonyms.
Hello all.
Where in the world are you joining from today? Let us know in the comments. So Corey, can you please tell us in your own words, what exactly is a thesaurus?
Of course, a thesaurus is a reference tool for people to find words that have the same meaning as a word or phrase. Those are called synonyms. Or to find words that have the opposite meaning of a word or phrase, and those are called antonyms.
Great. When do you think a learner would likely use a thesaurus? At what stage would a synonym or an antonym be useful information for them?
Well, if you are a learner, you might have, for instance, a writing exercise that wants you to substitute a word in a sentence. So let's say you have the sentence, "That book is interesting." And the writing exercise wants you to use a different word than interesting. You would use a thesaurus to do that. Sometimes if you're preparing for an exam, some exams require that you know synonyms and antonyms to common words. So that's another point where you could use a thesaurus. And if you're an advanced learner, the thesaurus can be very helpful in helping you learn the different uses between words that you already know very well.
It sounds like there are many times when a learner might need to know synonyms or antonyms. So a
Yeah.
thesaurus would then come in very handy for those learners. Well,
Absolutely.
let's ask the audience, what do you use a thesaurus for? A, to find synonyms for a specific word. B, to prepare for an exam. Or C, to understand the differences between synonyms you already know. And I'll give you a few seconds just to write your answers down. Great, so it looks like the most common answer is A, to find synonyms for a specific word. So Corey, you've of course worked very closely on the Cambridge Thesaurus. So can you please tell our audience a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So the Cambridge English Thesaurus is a bit different from other thesauruses you'll find online. It was written specifically for English language learners. So that
Sorry,
means,
Corey, your audio's gone.
oh no.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
I'm back. Okay. Welcome to technology. The Cambridge English Thesaurus is written specifically for learners. So it's going to look very different from other types of thesauruses you see online. And all of the information in it is based on the Cambridge corpus. So it's not just for learners, but it's using the Cambridge corpus as well.
Fantastic.
And I would love to go ahead and take our learners on a tour of the thesaurus.
That would be great. I can't wait to see it.
All right.
So Corey is now going to share her screen so that we can follow along as she introduces us to this exciting new area on Cambridge Dictionary. Throughout this, I'll just say quickly before you start, Corey, throughout this live to our audience, if you have any questions about the thesaurus or about using synonyms and antonyms to learn English, please ask us in the comments and we'll make sure to answer at the end. So over to you, Corey.
Great, thanks, Jade. So this is the Cambridge Dictionary site, and there are a couple of different ways to get to the thesaurus. I like to click the top link to thesaurus, And you'll know you're at the thesaurus because it changes color. So let's say that you have a writing exercise and you need to find a different word to put into the sentence that makes me very angry. And you need to find a new word for angry. So what you would do is you would type angry into the thesaurus search bar. And if the word's entered, you'll see it in the drop down. And you click on that. And that takes you to our first thesaurus page for the word angry. Now, the way that this is set up, you'll see at the very top, it tells you that you are on the thesaurus. And you have a link to go to the dictionary if you like. But if you scroll down, I want to show you the different features of this particular page. At the top in the purple, if you're a Cambridge Dictionary user, you'll recognize that this is a phrase or a word that we call a guide phrase or a guide word. It helps you know what meaning we're covering here. So we've looked at angry, this is angry. Now, the other thing that our thesaurus has is every single synonym and antonym has its own example sentence that is based entirely on research from the Cambridge corpus and is written specifically for thesaurus users. So if you want to know the difference between angry and mad, it helps to see the context of angry and mad, for instance, in each one. So you'll see we have the list of synonyms and examples, and here we have all these synonyms and they have their own example sentence. The other thing that's really exciting about our thesaurus is we also include usage labels on this page. So mad is an informal word for angry. So you wouldn't use mad in academic writing or in technical writing. And sore is an informal word in US English for angry, which means that if you're in UK English, you wouldn't use sore. Now I want to note that our thesaurus covers fully both UK and US English because we know that our learners often are encountering both of them in different contexts. So if something is only used in US English or in UK English, you'll see that label there. So for instance, sore is US English. If we scroll down a bit, we see that cross is mainly used in UK English. So these are very helpful for learners to see a synonym in context. And all of these are based on the Cambridge corpus. And if you'll see up here, if you're logged in, I'm using UK English as my main language. If you change that to US English, then all of these example sentences turn into US English as well. So it's fully UK, fully US. So it's very rich. Now, you'll see each of the synonyms is underlined. If you click on any of those, you will be taken to the thesaurus page for that particular synonym or antonym. So let's look at the page for calm. Okay, so this looks familiar again. It's important to know that many words have several different meanings, and that means they might have more than one example page in the thesaurus. So calm has a calm person, and here are all of the synonyms and examples for that. But if you scroll down, you'll see it also has another section for to become calm, for the verb calm. So make sure you scroll all the way to the bottom if you are looking for the particular meaning that you need. So I want to talk a little bit about some other features of the thesaurus that we have built specifically for learners. So at the bottom of your examples and your synonyms and your antonyms, you will see a list of words under C also. Now, what are those? Those are synonyms that are related to a close meaning to the word you're looking up, but are not actually synonyms here. These can help you explore more meanings of a word. So for instance, the C also words for a calm person. You'll notice if you're an advanced learner, they're all verbs. So they're actually for the verb to calm. So this just helps you learn how meanings of words are interlinked. And that's super helpful for advanced learners as they build their vocabulary. There's also something else here that is very exciting about how this thesaurus works. So we talked about different levels of learning a word earlier, that advanced learners might want to know more about the differences in use between synonyms. And so our thesaurus is built to have two different levels of learning for the learner. And so I want to go to the second deeper level of learning. And you can do that by one of two ways. You'll see down here there's a learn more box, and it has a couple of sentences in it. A calm person is someone who is peaceful and not worried. You can also become calm or make someone calm. That takes both of those ideas and links them together. You can click on either of those or go up to this box here, the link that says go to the thesaurus article about these synonyms and antonyms of calm. And that's what we're going to do now. So if you click on that, that takes you to an article that we have written that explains in detail how each of these words is used and compares their use. So here's our thesaurus article for a calm person. You'll see we have that same guide phrase up at the top. And then you'll see we give you a sentence that gives you sort of an idea of what all of these synonyms are used for. So these words all refer to people who are peaceful, quiet, and not worried, especially in difficult situations. We usually tell you what the most common word for this particular meaning is. And then we give you more example sentences, so you have more patterns of usage to follow. If a word has an opposite or an antonym, we will give that to you here. So two opposites of calm are anxious and nervous. We give you example sentences for each of the opposites so you can see how they work. And as you go down, you'll see in particular that some of the information we give is not the type of information that you can get in just a little label. So if someone's very calm and in control of their emotions in difficult situations, you can say they are composed or are calm and collected. And here's the usage information that we have given you based on our research. These words are used more in writing than in speech, and they often refer to a person's response to a particular situation instead of just a person's personality. So this is a second deeper level of learning that can help you figure out, if you're trying to substitute a word in a sentence, would it be okay for me to say this person was very calm and collected in an emergency situation? Or would it be more appropriate for me to say they were cool as a cucumber? Is that more formal or less formal? So these articles are extremely helpful once you've learned these words and you know what these words are and you want to have a deeper level of understanding of how to use them. There's a couple of other features in the articles that I just want to point out very quickly. One is that we have linked articles that are related to each other together. So if there is an article for an opposite, for an antonym, there will be a link to it. And in this case, for calm, there is a link to an article for words that are related to being calm, but are not actually synonyms of calm. So, and if you click any of those links, you'll be taken to that article page. And the other thing that we've done in lots of these articles is if there's a particular usage that is specific to one synonym in a group that is different from all the other synonyms, we often highlight it. So for the article for relaxed, we note that the word relaxed is only used after a verb. So you can say she seemed happy and relaxed at home, but not the relaxed woman was at home. That's not idiomatic in English. So these are just a couple of the extra features that we have for both the thesaurus synonym pages and the article pages. And if you want to go back to the synonym list, you can click any of these underlined words, and that takes you right back to that synonym list.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Corey. There really is so much to explore there.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that learners can easily see the difference between synonyms so clearly with features like the example sentences and the usage labels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say I've looked up the definition of a word in Cambridge Dictionary. How
Okay.
do I know if that word has an entry in the thesaurus?
That's an excellent question. The way that you can find that out is, let's say I've looked up the word chance in the English dictionary. Now, if you're in the dictionary and this word has a thesaurus entry, we fortunately have linked the dictionary and the thesaurus together, so you don't have to switch back and forth. So here we are at chance, and if you scroll down, you will see, whoops, there we are. There's a box labeled thesaurus with synonyms, antonyms, and examples. It tells you what the guide phrase, the meaning is, and it gives you some synonyms and some example sentences. And if you want to go to the synonym list, you would click a synonym. And if you want to read the article, you would click see more results, or you would click the title. And it's important to remember that a thesaurus is based on the meaning of a word. So if a word like chance has more than one meaning, you should check and see if there's an extra thesaurus entry for the meaning that you want. So the one we just looked at was a chance to do something. It also has a thesaurus entry for the chance of something happening. So, and any of these can be linked back and forth. Now, if you look up a word in the dictionary and there's not a thesaurus entry, you shouldn't panic and you shouldn't worry that we haven't covered it, because the other thing about the thesaurus is we are constantly adding more to it. So just check back later to see if we've added another article.
Great. Well, thank you so much for giving us a tour of the Cambridge Thesaurus, Corey.
Of course.
I'm
I'm
really
going
looking,
to
sorry.
stop sharing my screen.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm really looking forward to browsing through those synonym articles and expanding my own vocabulary through synonyms.
Yeah.
But for now, we have time to answer some questions.
Okay, great.
First of all, I have a question for you, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
As an experienced lexicographer, you're always exploring English language. If you had to pick just one, what is your favorite word and why?
Well, technically, as a lexicographer, all words are treated equal, so I'm not supposed to have favorite words,
I
but I
see.
do have a favorite word. And this word is a very silly word. The word is gardy-loo, and it is a word that was used in previous times in the UK, actually in Scotland, to yell out of the window to warn people when you threw things out of an upper story, like wastewater or bathwater. So you would yell gardy-loo. And I love it because it's such a silly sounding word, and it has so much rich history to it too.
That's a great example of a very good word. I also like the way that sounds. Okay, great. We have had some questions through for you, Corey.
Excellent.
So the first one, does the thesaurus show a word's frequency?
It shows you if a word is very common or very rare. We tell you in the article if it's a common word or uncommon word. But in terms of ranking each type of synonym by frequency, unless it's very rare or very common, we don't. But we do help the learner know that if there's a word that, for instance, is very formal and academic and only appears in that context, it only appears in that context.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
One of the most difficult things is to choose the correct synonym, as it may be incorrect in a certain context. Any tips?
I would encourage you to read through the article, because we do try in those thesaurus articles to tell you if there's a context that a synonym fits best in, or if a synonym can be used in all contexts. So some synonyms work well in all contexts, and other synonyms are very, very limited. They're mostly in speech or in informal language, or they might be in business language or in technical language. So if you're not sure, check the article and see if your synonym is covered, and we will tell you what kind of context you can use it in.
Great, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And another one here, does it point to the register of the synonyms?
It usually does if a word is informal or formal. we will tell you. If it's slang, we tell you that. So if there's any label in the Cambridge Dictionary, for instance, it will be the same in the Thesaurus. So we do try and give as much usage information as we can, because we know that learners need that kind of information in order to build their vocabulary and succeed.
Fantastic. So I have another question for you here, Corey.
Okay.
What would you say are the top benefits of using a thesaurus?
Oh boy. Well, if you have a good knowledge of synonyms and antonyms, that helps widen your vocabulary. So this helps you avoid any kind of problems with using the same words over and over again, which is something that particularly learners, as they become more advanced, they don't want to keep using the same word over and over again. So that's one good example. A thesaurus can help you prepare for exams that require that you know synonyms and antonyms. And that's a very important thing for learners as they prepare for their exams. The other thing is that a thesaurus helps you learn that deeper level of vocabulary that goes beyond just knowing the meaning of a word or knowing its pronunciation or seeing it in use. It helps you really sort of know the full facet of a word, so that when you approach it, you know its register, what contexts it's in, and how it fits together meaning-wise with words that are similar.
Well, those are some really great benefits. Got another couple of questions coming through.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Of course.
Oh, here's a quite tricky one.
Uh-oh.
How do you teach synonyms to young learners?
Oh, that can be very tricky. I would start by finding a small number of synonyms for very common words. So words like angry is a good example. I would go to the thesaurus page for angry if I were a teacher, and I would look for some synonyms that seem to be pretty high frequency. You can also look at the article page, or that might have different registers. So maybe one informal, one formal. And I would just use the usage examples. I would say these words all mean the same sort of thing, and here are practice ways that you can say them. That would be the first way to start. And then as learners gain that knowledge, as they practice the difference between mad and angry, let's say, or angry and incensed, then you can take them to a deeper level. You can either add more synonyms, or you can go to that thesaurus article and share information about incensed and mad and compare two synonyms then, not just to your main word, but how the two synonyms interact.
Great, thank you. You did that very well.
Thank you.
Another one here, Corey, a very important question. Is the Cambridge Thesaurus free?
It absolutely is free, just like the Cambridge Dictionary is free. It's not helpful to a learner if you can't access the tool that we've made for you.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I think that's about all we have time for today.
Okay.
So for those of you who have watched until the end, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be posting a link in the comments section to the new Cambridge Thesaurus that Corey has just shown us. I hope you all enjoyed watching this Facebook Live. Corey, last question. Did you enjoy joining me today?
I did. It was so wonderful. And thank you for everyone who participated and asked such good questions. Cambridge learners ask the best questions.
I completely agree. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye, all.